Hey everyone, it's your girl, Marjorie.
And your boy Tony Bench, you already know.
And we're back on another episode of Dropping Gems 252. We're back again. I hope everyone's been enjoying our season 2 that's been happening. We've had a lot of special guests on the show. We've been, coming up with different ways to share with the world not only our own experience and our own opinions, but the opinions and experience of others. And tonight we just decided to sit back and have a night of coffee. And coffee time. It's like sit at the coffee table, sit back and relax. So, we don't have a specific title tonight. We just wanted to come up here and just speak our mind.
We just really came just chop it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And let y'all know about a few upcoming things we got going on. Got some videos coming, some new shows. We got a couple ideas in the works for that. You know what I'm saying?
We got some new projects coming out where we're going to have a different type of theme going on. We're going to have new topics. We're going to have new titles. We're going to have a whole new look of things coming up. Not only are we going to have this channel, we're going to have other things happening for us. We don't want to give too much tea because, we want to surprise you guys with the project. So, but
just know, you know what I'm saying? We got a few flavors for y'all, basically. You know what I'm saying? We got other cups, other choices.
Yeah, we really just been tapping into our gifts and really just figuring out how far we can go, knowing that we're limitless. So it's like, why not try anything that we feel the need that we want to do?
Right.
So we're just tapping into another project, and we hope that we can share that with you guys as well. As you guys are tuning into the podcast, you will be able to see other things and see other things that we have invested in that will not only help us put ourselves out there, but also help you guys see another version of
us.
Of
you know
us.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And be in some new locations and all types of things like that. Got just a whole lot of things coming for y'all, from us, for y'all. You know what I mean?
So far, we really just wanted to come in with a little intermission and be like, you guys, hope you guys been enjoying the season 2 so far. Hope you guys been catching up on the vibe and, catching up on season 1 as well. Because season 1 is where we really just started. And we really came up here to talk about, how we got there and like basically how we started too.
Facts.
We were just sitting here like, damn, we really just said, I know I had a whole little plan in my planner. I was like, you know what? I want to do a podcast. I have so much to say. There's so many things that I want to talk about. And I wanted to bring a positive energy into it. I wanted to transmute the knowledge and understanding that I have through my own experience by transmuting it into the podcast. So, it's like I had the idea. At the time, I didn't have the funds to get all the equipment. And then just so happened that Tony here basically had everything already in need. It was like I had the ideas, I had the setup, I had an organized way to put it all together. He had everything that, as far as all the equipment to put things, he had it all. So it was like, you got the physical and you have the spiritual, masculine and feminine energy coming together and putting work together. That's when you come into alignment with not only yourself, but, others come into alignment with themselves as well. So, you got to almost see that the people you surround yourself with is also a reflection of you.
Yeah.
That's my nose inching confirmation.
And yeah, you gotta, once you start walking in your purpose, those people that are, supposed to be there with you, they'll come along. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of what happens. But you gotta be walking in your purpose. You gotta be doing what you feel you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, because when you start going to the top and you see those start falling off, they fall off for a reason because everyone doesn't go with you to the next season. Some people are only here for episodes and not seasons. And some people want to try to keep up with you, people who you had to learn from. And we know that once we learn what we need to learn, we move on to the next level.
Right.
So, this is just us coming together now, bringing our bright ideas together and just, doing what we got to do. And
Yeah, and letting it flourish.
yeah, because I actually still have seasons and episodes coming up for you guys where I'm going to tell you guys about some of the lessons that I had to learn, things that I had to experience in order for me to get to this point where I'm at. And, a lot of us had to go through, I know for me, I had to go through a lot of humility in my life to figure out where I needed to be and how I needed to move. So it's like I'm willing to share my experience so that I can also teach others to see for themselves and start learning to not, to really just look within and realize. I know it may look crazy, it may seem out of the ordinary, but you kind of find out you're not really ordinary to begin with. So, it's always good to start, you know, not always listening to everyone around you, but listening to that inner voice that knows best.
All right.
So
Trust your instincts, follow your intuition. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna steer you wrong,
yeah,
in my opinion, anyway.
like I was listening to, I was reading a book about. It said I forgot the name exactly, but I know it says I am and I create. And she was talking about how we come in to this world with a persona, and we have our higher self. And the persona is a way to get us to teach us about how to live in this world, how to move and how to learn how to create the things we need by the pain and the growth, basically the growing pains and stuff. And we also have to learn how to, you know, use our persona for our benefit versus, you know, allowing our ego to keep us from reaching that higher version of ourselves. And it can go hand in hand. Neither one is good, neither one is bad. Either it just works as is. And it's like you can either live in your persona or you can live in the true version of who you're supposed to be. And living through your persona comes with certain beliefs, and because we came in with our belief system as the way we grow up is the way we operate in our own life and how we perceive things because of our belief system. And that goes back to that persona that was created and given to you. So it's like you got to think about all the things that you have to go through to reach this level. And it's like when you realize this whole time you could have really just not allowed people around you to control how you should move. You should really just
Facts.
move how you move, regardless of how it looks. It doesn't always look pretty, to be honest.
Nah, I don't.
It looks weird, it looks crazy, it looks out of the
Yeah,
ordinary. It doesn't look like everyone
people look
else.
at you with their head tilted. 'Cause they don't understand how you moving because
Yeah,
it's out of the norm. But you're supposed to move according to what aligns with you and what you need to do
yeah.
and your goals.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta move how you move
You
and
gotta
how you
move
get
to the
there.
beat of your own drum.
Facts.
So, that's how I move. I know I had to learn a lot of things throughout my life because I know sometimes it's a lot harder to realize that you come here with a persona, but that doesn't mean that defines who you are, because you may be born in a situation where there's a lot of unhealed people around you, and their persona is not yours, but they kind of project it onto you because they feel like if they go through this, you should go through this too. And you're over here surrounding yourself with all those energies and these type of people that have that mindset. You're bound to have that too until you awaken yourself. And it's like, you know, you're causing all this blockage in yourself because you're not aware that you're bringing in other energies that aren't benefiting you, but really keeping you from reaching that potential. Because a lot of people don't want to see you rise, because in order for you to rise, sometimes you have to leave them behind, and they don't want to be left behind.
Yeah, and you mess around and get caught up in letting others define you by you taking on all those other energies that are not necessarily for you. And you get caught up in that, and that'll have you stuck and stagnant and not ascending like you should be. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to cut ties. You got to, you just, it don't mean you love those people any less. You just, some people got to go to the wayside.
Some people just are meant to stay at the level that they at, and you're meant to move past those levels that you're meant to learn. And just think about it: you play a video game, you go through a level. You might enjoy that level. That level might have been at it might have taught you something, but you also know that that level was a lesson in itself, and you can't take that thing with you. You can only take what you learn from it. You can't take the person or the thing or anything that you know you gain from that. You physically, you just take it mentally and be like, all right, I'm moving on. I'm taking on because I learned, and it was a hard lesson. It wasn't always like, oh yeah, I learned. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Versus the hard one is like, damn, you was a real one.
Hmm.
I thought you were at least, and because I had to learn myself through how I treated you and how where I put you at when I should have been putting myself there instead. You find yourself putting people on a pedestal that never gave them that, never even auditioned to be there. You
Fact.
just gave them that spot,
Yeah.
assuming that they were going to fulfill that. And a lot of us, we make that mistake by trying to put people in positions where we assume they're going to fulfill it. They never even showed us that they could.
Legitimate.
But we
And
all have
just,
to learn.
yeah. Not all your lessons gonna be hard though.
Mhm.
But it's life. It be life, and it comes with its bumps and bruises.
Mhm.
But as long as you learn from it and progress and move forward, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
And you know what? We constantly try to find a way to ease this sense of having everything or wanting everything we don't have. And when we find ourselves chasing the things that we feel like we don't have at the moment, we don't enjoy the moment. And it's like you find yourself never really being satisfied no matter where you move, no matter how you move. Or and it's not about finding or feeling that empty void. It's about healing it and just accepting things for what it is and knowing that no matter what we do in life, we're always going to have to, you know, leave something to get something.
Yeah, and all through that, you got to be present and appreciative of what you have. And all through that, you got to be present and appreciative of what you have, and appreciate. And if you have to let something go, still appreciate the time you had it.
Hmm. That's why it's very important for you to live in that moment because that moment you want to be able to go back to that moment and feel that feeling and know that feeling was good and you can cherish that and know that and be happy that you even got to experience it
Fact.
because there are people who can only wish they had that because they didn't take the time to even do that. So it's like enjoy the moment, know your worth, see where they at, and just enjoy life and know how to move and learn how to move. Even when you don't know, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn.
Trust your intuition.
Yeah.
And side note, that's why I like to make good memories. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of however long it lasts with a person or I be in a place or you know what I'm saying? No matter how long, I try to make good memories while I'm there or while I'm dealing with whoever. That way the good I always try to make the good outweigh the bad. And sometimes people, places and situations just don't work out for you.
Right.
But you learned your lessons, you got your blessings. Now you move on. You know what I'm saying? You push forward.
Yeah, you take those medals and you move forward. It's like you're not gonna keep playing and doing the same thing over and over. It's like once you get that first time, it's like, oh, it's good. The second time, it's like, all right, I enjoy that. Third time, you're like, all right, now, how long am I gonna keep, dealing with something? It's like if it doesn't give you that constant, thrill or exciting feeling to know that you have, and you don't, it's like, oh, I guess it's getting time for me to move on past that. It's like or find something else that I can evolve in or be better at, you
Yeah,
know.
that's what it's about. Evolution.
Hmm.
Like constantly evolving.
And there's not everyone in this town, in this world, decides to evolve. A lot of us stay stagnant, and stuff because of what we the lack of knowledge and the
Yeah,
lack of knowing how to move, where to move. People don't know how. People, no one's showing them the way. No one's trusting themselves because every time they thought they knew, they didn't know, and then they wind up being. They look at the situation as something happening to them really when it's happening for them. Until they find out that things are happening for them, things are always going to be seen in a negative light.
yeah. You
So
gotta.
yeah,
My bad.
so it's important to know that when you see the situation happening, to stop and take a moment and be like, why is this not why is this happening, but what is it supposed to teach me? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I approach it with a positive mindset. Look for what you can learn from a situation, no matter what the outcome of it is, good or bad. Like, don't view it as good or bad. Look at what you can learn from it
Right.
and how you can benefit from whatever the situation or the outcome of it is. It's a lesson that's easier said than learned all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's a lesson that you learn that's easier said than done, so to
Yeah.
speak.
I
Like,
mean, it's about feeling it's knowing that you've been dealt a hand and you don't control the hand you've been dealt with, but learning how to get through it and
yeah, controlling you while you play that hand.
being able to feel what you feel and not hold on to it, but feel it and let it go.
Yeah,
You can't control what's coming up, but feel it, know it, recognize it, and ask yourself why you're feeling these things, because these feelings are here to teach us how and why we're feeling these. And if we listen to ourselves will tell us what we need to know.
yeah. And that way you won't let your emotions rule you.
Hmm.
You'll have that gives you a little bit more self control in your life, which is really the only control that we really have.
Yeah, because the only way you can really communicate with God is to know yourself. And when you want to listen to Him and you want to hear that inner voice, He'll speak to you through you. Because sometimes you know yourself to the point where you almost when you hear yourself in a higher mindset, you don't even recognize it, because it comes from, it gives us stronger and more powerful energy. It's like knowing versus not knowing. It's like it's I can't it's unexplainable
It's
in
the
a way.
gnosis.
Yeah, it's like I know what I know without knowing how I know, but I just know I know. And when you know what you know, it's no telling, no one can really change that mindset you have once you know, because no one knows but you.
Yeah, see, I always believe like truth comes with a feeling.
Yeah.
And once you hear truth or see truth, you can feel it.
Yeah,
Like you can feel, what I'm saying, the truth. That's just
you can
my
feel
belief,
that
man.
energy shift.
Yeah, what I'm saying? That's my belief and my opinion. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's good
But
because your belief helps you recognize it. Your own setup, the way your belief system is set up, is how you can trust what you know.
yeah,
So that makes sense. It's like, and think about how many other religions and cultures are out there, and people question how they get to this certain mindset, how they get connected to this and this. It's because of what they believe in. They have certain access to certain knowledge about things where they're able to access higher realms and do certain things. Or some are just passed down, some are born with. Just everyone has a different way to connect with the source, and it's not about how. It's just about doing and just being able to truly be yourself, and where you are, who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what culture you're in, no matter what race you're in, but truly knowing that God is all, God is everything.
but
He is even you. He's that. He's everything that you can only imagine and even more. So it's like, don't judge others for how they want to worship Him or praise Him. It's just, think about it. It's how they're they were a result of their environment. So that's how they learn. And you learn how you learn.
but
So you just learn to go and come into alignment with those who understand and don't judge you for who you are and how you are. This is supposed to be a safe space.
right,
We created this whole podcast to even create that safe space to speak.
yeah, to say what we feel, say what's on our mind, on our hearts, you know,
Yeah.
to to say.
And also open the floor for others.
Yeah, you know, you may hear something that resonates with you. You may not. You know what I'm saying? But just take it.
You
You
take what
know,
resonate and leave the
yeah,
rest.
yeah. Leave the
As
rest.
what, as I would say, and anyone else who knows best, common sense isn't also common as we assume it is. It's a lot more real. It's when you realize it's a lot more fake than it is real out here. You kind of realize it's a lot more complicated than you think because you realize if it's a bunch of dummies and a bunch of people who are trained to think they're a dummy and they're not a dummy, it's like the dummies are the ones who are easily manipulated, used, and have no
That's
sense of
true.
self and just don't care to even change or even attempt to. Those are like empty vessels that's just being used for whatever. Then you got those who actually have a soul, have a mind, but have been trained to think that they're dummies and that they have no value. And then that could be us for once. They treat us like we have no value, but we're the real ones. And they have switched roles and make us feel like we're the dummies and the dummies are the real. That's why the world is like chaotic now because now
Facts.
you're convincing that the dumb shit is the good shit and the good shit is the dumb shit.
Yeah,
Everything
which
is
is crazy.
backwards. So
And yeah, this is wild. Like, but you got a lot of people who believe they know. Like, I lost my train of thought. Come on.
no, just somebody snatched that out. It
Yeah,
was like, hold on, wait. But you think you got a lot of people that know that they they think they're doing what they're doing by their own knowing. And sometimes they don't even realize they're being more influenced than they think, especially if they're unaware of how easily they're being influenced if they don't see why they are unhappy with themselves because you're moving in someone else's light or image, or
yeah,
you're moving how the world or however you were raised or thought or put to think that you should move.
yeah, yeah. That's what I was getting at. Like, when you get to a certain point, no matter what you've been taught or led to believe coming up or whatever, once you get to a certain point and you no longer want to learn any new information, it may not apply to you, but it may apply to you. You know what I'm saying? Some things may help you, some things might not help you. But once you get to a point where you feel like you know enough and you don't want to know it, you say you refuse to learn anything else, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're stagnant. You're in a place of complacency. You're too comfortable in whatever situation you're in. Because you refuse to learn anything new, that's where you're always going to be. You're never going to evolve. You're going to be stuck right there. You know what I'm saying? Evolution comes with new ideas, new ways of thinking. You know what I'm saying? New developments on your new character developments within yourself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I don't want to move on and I done 10 years unpassed and you're still doing the same thing you were when I left you, and it's like you're stagnant, you're stuck. Why would I how would I have ever became the person or even started working on becoming the person that I wanted to be if I would have just stayed in that same energy the whole time? I would never been that thing, that person, that place, that title. I would have never gained the success. I would have never done anything if I would have stayed right where I was. Because how? How can you grow when you're in a little box? You gotta move to a bigger box.
Facts.
And not even that, you gotta get outside the box
Right.
and see that you didn't even realize you were in a box.
Keep expanding, keep growing, keep learning.
Outgrow the box that your mind
Yeah.
was put in. You know.
Yeah, because it's new developments, there's new things happening
Hmm.
every day, and
And know that knowledge is always growing.
yeah, and then looking within, like just reflecting on yourself, looking within yourself, you'll learn something new about yourself every day.
Yep, especially when it comes to actually doing something that yourself is saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do this today." And I want to do it without worrying about whatever the others think because this is what makes me feel good. And once you start doing things that make you feel good, you move better, you do things better, you actually start, creating, positive domino effects because not only is your energy, you know, expanding and contagious in a sense because your aura grows as well. You affect everyone around you just by shifting, just by you being in that very room.
Right.
You change, you shift the room by walking in and just being there in your presence, just being known. So people
Oh,
be
yeah.
looking for that. Where is that coming from? What is this?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I know someone's here of value, something, you know. And then you got those who don't like to see those type of people, like people who are don't like to see themselves a version of themselves that they refuse to actually be working on. So yeah, they'll be stuck, they'll be stagnant, and they don't like to know that that's what they're choosing to do. And the work that it comes with when it comes to elevating isn't an easy task.
It's not, but
But if you really want to, it's about doing actually accepting what you deserve. It's not what you should have, it's what you deserve. And what you deserve is a better life, is a better um sense of peace,
yeah, some peace, some tranquility, some
some
little
stability.
serenity,
Yeah.
stability, security, all
What
that.
you want is knowing and not believing. You want to know. And a lot of us are stuck because of our beliefs.
Yeah, and then knowing yourself, like taking time to know yourself, like and really get in tune with yourself will help you in ways you couldn't imagine. Help you in relationships because you know what you want.
Yeah.
You know what serves you and what doesn't.
Yeah, we tend to, like, in the past, think about how many times you attracted the same type of person over and over and over. And you wonder to ask yourself, why am I always attracting this type of person, this place, this thing, this job? It's because your mindset, once, haven't changed. Two, you're not recognizing the unhealed version pattern that you're not seeing, that you're constantly ignoring about yourself. And once you actually acknowledge the pattern and see it for what it is, you realize you don't, you accept it and you see where it stems from and you go, oh, I'm realizing I didn't know that this part of me was affecting my choice in men. This part of me was affecting my choices in friends. All of this that happened to me as a child on up affected my choices. And once you recognize it, you start to work on where that little bit, and you go back and you kind of go back in your mind and you go back to that moment when you started feeling that, and you kind of almost like time jumping, and you go back to yourself and you kind of like tell yourself in a positive way that you're going to get through this, you're always going to, and it's just like that scene in Harry Potter. You remember, I forgot what show that was, when Harry Potter was he had to go back in the past to save himself, and he didn't know who threw the rock, but it was
Oh
him.
yeah.
It was him who saved himself. So it's like that's what you have to do with your shadow work. You have
Mm-hmm.
to see yourself going back to that moment and knowing that you're going to get through it. And then when you get through, you find out that you got through because you got through for you. It was your future self, always your higher self
Yeah.
is always reaching back out to you, because the more you heal, the more you know that you're even 20 years down the line, that version of you was coming back to this version of you to let you know we made it.
Fact.
We always gonna make it and we're gonna keep making it, and you gotta believe that. Not believe that, you gotta know that. And the more you know, the more you can just keep, no one can change that because you know.
Yeah. I mean, you just keep moving and you keep growing.
Yeah. So
Like
that's how
what they
people.
say, knowledge is power. The more you know.
Hmm. All you have to do, I would advise you guys, my advice to those who are listening, who are watching, if you want to start to communicate with yourself and you want to know some things that you are trying to figure out, but you don't know how, I would get a book, I would get a pen, and I would just start writing and letting the pen write to you, back to
That's
yourself.
a very good way. Like the
And,
writing, but you have to be willing to be honest and open with yourself.
and you can't lie to yourself, because why would you ask yourself what you need to know? And the truth is not always an easy pill to swallow, but the truth is never easy. So it's like, take it, write it out and see, like, damn, okay, why do I seek validation outside of myself? And the first thing that pops in your mind that you start writing will start to come to the forefront. It's like now you're giving your inner child a space to clear the floor and speak their truth through you. And you go, and they go, well, you remember this time when we were 5 years old and we wanted to do this, and every time we wanted to go somewhere, we could never get our mother's attention. She always ignored us all the time. Every time we wanted her attention, she ignored us. She never gave us that attention. Every time we wanted attention from anybody we thought was supposed to be our caretaker or had cared for us, never gave it to us. So we seeked it for so long, we just kept looking for it in other people that we assumed could give it to us if we couldn't get it in the very place we assumed we were supposed to get it from. And if you don't know that it happened from that childhood, you're going to grow up thinking and seeing it now. Like, oh, that's why. I was never seen when I was a kid, so therefore I'm looking for it in everyone else. And there goes my choice in how I make my moves. And if I don't know, that's why I say if you don't know better, you won't do better.
Right.
So that's just an example.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
That's what it was about. This was supposed to be a short, quick little, you know what I mean, video.
It's never that.
It's never that.
God determines that.
Yeah.
We
just be going.
I know I be going for sure. I know God give me that message and He makes sure I clearly tell it and the rest flows. And that's how it goes, you know?
Yeah.
I know I have the connection to things that need to be said, and I have a tendency not to say what needs to be said, but keep it to myself. But I know it's time for me to speak my truth and speak what needs to be said when it needs to be said. To those who are going to listen will listen. You never have to chase what you already are going to attract.
Right.
You don't have to chase the bag. You don't have to chase the car. You don't have to chase anything. You sit and you attract. You do the work that you need to do to mend that bridge and attract those things that are meant for you. Those things will all the way kind of automatically fall in place.
Yeah. What's for you is going to be for you.
Yeah. And the best thing for my advice to you is to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And
remember that work without faith is dead.
Yeah. And we want to thank you all for.
I said that backwards, but faith without work is dead.
Work without faith.
It goes both ways, I guess. You can have all the faith, but don't put in no work.
Facts.
You're not going to get what you.
That's how you see, and I didn't even see. It's two ways to look at it.
Yeah.
Work without faith, because how you gonna work and then don't even know you're gonna make it? You just working for nothing, and then how you gonna believe it? Right. That's see how it goes.
Hand in hand, you gotta have work and faith.
Yeah, see, that's why it's good to have different mindsets, different opinions, different views, so that you can see from different points. Because it's not always one way to hear it and understand it. You got another way to show it. Just when you think it's only one way to tell you how to get there, it's 1,000 other ways to help you understand the very message that needs to be sent and received. You're gonna receive it the best way you receive it. And both ways was a great example.
Right.
So we want to thank you all once again for joining us on DroppingGems252, and we'll catch you guys on the next one, and we'll see you guys later.
And as always, she gonna keep it spiritual. I'm gonna keep it lyrical. Be cool how you be cool. Be you and be true.
Peace and love.